All right, good morning, y'all. How you doing? Welcome to the Coffee Run with John. Why does John have a bag of lammers? I wonder what's going to happen today. We might talk about something to do with some probabilities with those things. I don't know. We'll see what happens as it comes. But good morning, happy Wednesday, happy Hump Day. Yeah, coming off of an interesting run in the garage today. I think I'm going to have to talk about that a little bit. But it worked out for us, thank God. But it doesn't always go my way out there. Today we ground through, and actually we had two good grindy sessions this week, which I think is good. It speaks to a couple of things that maybe we ought to talk about. So with that said, let's jump in here and get to our news and notes. First things first, old Joe from Craftsmaster Journey is rocking the new table. As you know, he's building a throwing station craps table thing. I haven't seen the whole thing yet for to be the primary, I think, prize for Craps for the Cure this year. So in Vegas, he's building something custom. He's got all of our chips. We all melt him chips. He's got a special design plan with the chips to work it into the table somehow. He's killing it. Pardon me. He's filming it, and we have to figure out how we're going to get it to you. Like, that's the thing now. It's like when the person wins that thing, how are we going to get it to him? I'm not sure if Joe's going to bring it to Vegas and then ship it from Vegas, or we're going to, I don't know. We have to figure that out. I gotta talk to some people, figure out how we're gonna do that. But he's killing it. It looks awesome. I've seen some preview pictures. It looks really cool. So Joe's awesome. I can't wait. It's only April. I can't wait till October. I also remind you that next week, Wednesday, Thursday next week is when we're talking to the casino. So cross fingers we can get that negotiation done and get the thing scheduled and on the book. So that's. I want that done so bad so I can start getting logos designed and everything else. There's a lot that's kind of waiting on that decision to get made, and then we can just kind of hammer it. So let's go. I'm sure you saw most of my subscribers and our viewers here are also well tuned into the guys over at Casino Quest. They put a bunch of blogs out recently. There's a really good one out with David and Alex last week it was. I think we're talking about their plans, and I hope you saw that. If you haven't seen it, go back and give it a watch. They're expanding big time. They're doing their school is going to become kind of a bigger school. They've got that 10,000 square foot space now. It's between Palace Station and where they are now. So bigger school. They're going to have these shorter run classes. There's going to be, instead of 2 weeks to be a dealer, it's 2 days. They're compressed. They aren't full trainings, but they're kind of like kickstart trainings kind of thing. So you can jump in there and get a blackjack or a bach or a roulette or a craps in a weekend. So on your vacation, you can do it. Take a week in Vegas, do 2 days at Casino Quest, learn how to deal, and go out there and play. They also have players training too at the new facility. So that's coming in June. I think they're working through that now. I think June is when it's going to open up, which is perfect. Just in time for DiceCon. So we'll be out there for DiceCon. We can go out and visit the place, and I'm sure Jeremy's going to have something to do out there. So anyway, that's good for them. Can't wait to see what happens there. They are just they're on this great trajectory. They've got this thing wired. They got the YouTube piece, like me and Jeff and all the other guys, Ryan and everybody. We're all doing YouTube. They're doing it better than anybody else. But they're also got the teaching thing down. And to talk to David and hear how they present that, they've really got some excellent programs now for players and for dealers, for your weekend craps dealers, and they got it going on. They really do have it going on. They're making waves, and good for them, because if you watch that video, also they talk about their fight and what it took to get there. I can tell you this: it's not easy to get there. Speaking as somebody who has opened 2 businesses, one software company, one gym. I've been successful once and not successful once. I've been on the ups and the downs with it. I know what it takes to get something from zero off the ground. Look at our channel here, right? We started out with 0 subscribers like everybody else. We're almost at 8,000 between our 2 channels, right? It takes a lot of effort to get something from 0 up, and a lot of it is doing the right thing. You know what I mean? I say this all the time. When I had my software company, I literally made the best software on the planet. And that's why people came to me. That's why I sold software. When I had the gym, even though we ended up losing it in the end with the last market crash, it was the best gym around. It was the best training center around, right? This channel, I think, is the best channel around. I never ask for subscribers or likes or anything else. I just put good content out there and people come. That's the way to do it, I think, right? And I think that's what Casino Quest does. They're just doing it the right way, and the casinos are seeing that. So good for them. Good for them. All right, how are we doing here? Daily paycheck. Boy, oh boy. What a week. We lost 3,500 bucks one day, which really sucked, right? We were up about 5 grand or 4,500, whatever it was. We lost 35. They're like, man, it was soul crushing. We ground it back. The last 2 days, we've ground back from being, basically even to now being up again about 2,800 bucks, which is good. The way that the paycheck's been working, I've been doing that Dallas drawdown quite a bit. And that thing, as you know, it's a 2 hits and out, right? It's a 2-hit quick hitter. And most of the times we've won so far 88% of the time this month, right? But overall, I think it's about, what is it overall? Overall, it's 80%, 82.8%. Most of the time it's I go out, I throw two numbers and I go home a winner and we all think John's great. The last couple of days, it's been a grind. Today's a good example. Went out there $2,500, got the first hit, which was great, pulled it off the table, 7. So what happens in that situation is because you drew down half your bets and you took a win off the table too, 2,500 bucks, that second roll loss turns into about a $400 loss. It's not a full thing. It sucks, but it's not a nightmare. When you go back out and the move then works, you get your big hit, your drawdown, your second hit. Instead of being at full profit, you've recovered your loss and you're at half profit. We took that half profit, played a little bit of Red Cross, and got out of there pretty quick. So it worked out, right? We ground through it today. That strategy, unless you catch the perfect nightmare of sevens, will be okay. Okay. And I say that intentionally because today we're going to talk about gambler's fallacy, right? You shouldn't see multiple sevens in a row. You shouldn't worry so much that you're going to get PSO 4 times in a row. Well, guess what? That shit happens, right? So the strategy is designed to dodge that as best you can because your exposure time is so small, right? I designed it to be super big exposure for one roll, tiny exposure for roll 2, and then you're out. I don't like when I'm paycheck playing or when I'm trying for a specific number, I don't like being out there for too long. I find that being out there for too long, time is your biggest enemy. So that it's working out so far. Tomorrow, I'm going to start doing the horseman to start out instead of the pass line and 64 across like I've been doing. We'll just do a little 2-to-1 horseman. We'll do a little 125 action on the horseman. We'll switch to whatever we're going to do for the paycheck and then come back out with the Philly special at the end. It's the way I like to play anyway. This is literally John at the table, what you're seeing on that show now. It's literally starting tomorrow with the horseman, at least, me at a table. This is what it's like to play with me. So there it is. So far, so good. Overall, we're up $21,000 from $10,000 starting point, which is great. The strategies themselves have won $15,000. We've had a couple of nice excess wins over $1,000 each, $5,000 in excess profit. So overall, we're doing all right. The strategies as a group are 78% win rate. Now, I don't know if we can maintain that all the way through to our $100,000 goal, but that's the goal, right? Keep it at 73%. That'd be fantastic. 75%, that'd be awesome. All right, let's do it. Let's talk about some fun stuff. Let's get into the gambling stuff. Oh, by the way, let's take a look down here. I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything in the in our chats here. Let's see. Let's see. Nothing. Again, I'm gonna put PCs on the filter here. So if you want to message me during the show, just drop the PC in front of the chat so I can see it. Jen says, like the DPC so much better now that I'm not handcuffed. Yeah. It's the thing of it is, and I know that you're really strong on this, Jen. Let me go back a screen. You're very strong on this point, and I think this goes also to. And I don't want to make the show about one person, but speaking to you directly, this idea of George's strategy, the best strategist competition thing, right? There's, to me, as a researcher, as a data collector here, right? There's 2 things that I think are important. One is, does a strategy hold up over time, right? You got to play handcuffed. And I played handcuffed for 7 months, right? To see how a strategy, all these things hold up over the long course of time. And you can see on screen here, you can see what they did over time, right? You can see which ones played mechanically, no variations, did what they did. Some of them had a good win rate. The Storm, not a terrible win, 60% is a good win rate, didn't win any money, right? You don't know that if you're bobbing and weaving, right? If you're jumping in and jumping out of a strategy because you feel like it, you can't tell if the strategy is really good. You got to see it. You got to see it on all those trials, right? And I feel like the Storm and the Odds Maker were 2 wasted months for us. It is what it is. We learned something from that, right? Now that we know the ways we like to play, the ways we enjoyed the most, and what each strategy is kind of best at, now we can look at it and say, let's use them tactically in our play, right? And by tactically, I mean, I want to warm up with something low volatility. I want to play hard with something that gets more aggressive, and I want to cool down with something that's more of a growth strategy, right? It's not like I'm picking my battles, right? I want to ease into the table with a horseman. I want to hammer it with a drawdown or with a 2100 salute, and I want to just walk out of there with a little bit of Philly special. If it catches, it catches. It's a play style, is what I'm showing you now, versus strategies that work or don't work, right? We can always go back into a full month of a handcuff strategy, which I think is maybe not as entertaining, but data collection is never entertaining. It's all about getting data, right? And that's what we have to do. We have to get data. And I think we did that. Now we're going to use the data to make that secondary decision the way that we want to. And I think that's important for everybody to see the process that I go through. It isn't like I made this shit up one day and said, hey, I'm going to go play Philly special at the end. No, this is what I do when I'm not on camera. I practice this style all the time, and I kind of see what's going to work. So there it is. Win crap could have shown mechanical play, but you got to see it, right? And here's the thing, Jen. I think this is very important. I can run win craps all day long and show you the graphs. That strategy sucks. That strategy sucks. That strategy sucks in the end, right? You got to see it, right? If you don't see the rolls and go, oh God, that's what destroys that strategy. You got to see me roll it out and go, oh, there's the point. There's the hole. There's the thing. That's why I think it's important to see it. If I don't do it and bore you to tears with it, you're not going to see the danger spot and go, okay, there it is. That's why I don't want to play that strategy, right? If I didn't go out there with the 410 ladder that one time, right, and lose the way we lost with it, you would never know, right? I think you have to see that. I think that's an important thing. Mechanical play, yes, the math guys will tell you that, right? They'll play mechanically, the house edge will get you 100%. You need to have luck. To play mechanically and win, you need luck. You need to be in a positive variant the entire time to win. Otherwise, house edge will for sure get you, right? But again, the mechanical play shows you where the holes are. I think it's important. I think you got to see that. Okay. If I do data collection, run two simultaneously, I can barely add up one person's bets, let alone two. That's funny. Anyway, let's get after it. Let's go. Let's move ahead. Let's talk about some important stuff about gambling, and all this kind of that we're talking about works into it, right? This all works into the same sort of thing, right? That show is all about goals, win goals and loss limits, right? If you don't have a goal, you're rudderless. We talked about this on Monday deeply with me and my wife, right? She's my rudder. She's the person who sets our goals, right? Because she's got a very interesting mindset with that stuff, right? And we execute the goals because we have a strategy with our money, with our life. We have a strategy. We're executing. My life looks just like my craps play. It's sometimes it's a grind, little bit of aggression here and there, but we're very goal oriented, and we have a strategy to get that. We have a bankroll that we've made and created over the years that accounts for how the downtimes happen. It just works, right? We have a great mindset in this house. We have great discipline in this house. I have great discipline mindset at the table, and you should too, right? When you connect all that stuff, right? The strategies, your bankroll, your mindset, your discipline, theory, logic, trends, understanding how math works, all that together makes you a complete player. It doesn't make you a winner. It makes you a complete player, right? What makes you a winner is luck. Variance makes you a winner. But you can better sense the danger. You can better make good decisions when you have all that stuff kind of tied together. And that's what I want to get us to here. So here we are in Gambling 301, which is the math series of the gambling school, I guess you want to call it. We're talking about Gambler's Fallacy here in session 4. And I chose Gambler's Fallacy for this session because we've been talking about probability and odds. And a lot of people will use what we call Gambler's Fallacy or this notion that something is due, okay? I will tell you this, the house always wins, right? We know this, the house always wins. We mentioned earlier today, if you play the same bet forever, the house edge will bleed you dry over time. That will for sure happen. It's just the way the math of the casino works. Now, we as gamblers make that worse by making what I would call poor decisions, right? Putting good money out there after bad, by making what I would call a fallacy-based decision. Something is due to happen. Haven't seen a 7 in a while, it's coming. Saw too many 4s, the 7 must be coming. Blah, 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 blah is due. Too many reds in a row, black is due. Too many bankers in a row, player is due. Nope. None of that is true. Not one bit of that is true. Okay. Once we break probability, things will even themselves out. I hear this all the time, right? Oh, we got 7 sevens. That means that the world owes us a non-7 at some point. The universe owes you nothing. Okay. You've seen the 7 twice in a row. There's only a 0.5% chance that it happens the third time. BS. Not true. We haven't seen a 0 or a double 0 in 38 rolls. We've dodged it for 38 rolls. There's 38 spots in that roulette wheel. You haven't seen a 0, double 0 yet. It's due. Start betting on it. BS. It's not due. I'll show you why here in a minute. Some people say that, hey, that there's been 6 9s rolled in the last 10 rolls. Either we're trending 9s or the 7's coming, right? How many times I've even said it, right? Oh God, the 9 is hot, right? Or I rolled so many 9s that 9's going to go away for a while. Get off the 9. We're not going to see another 9 for an hour. We all say things like this is all superstitious fallacy based on things you think are going to happen based on the way that you perceive probability. Okay. These notions are wrong fundamentally. Something is due to happen is fundamentally wrong. And here's a few of the reasons why. Okay. 1, odds and probabilities reset. They reset because everything's independent. Okay. The results do not even out over time. They just do not. It may end up that way, but they don't. The world does not owe you a couple of 0s and double 0s because we didn't see any. The world does not owe me a hard 4 because it's been 160 rolls since I've seen one. It doesn't work that way. Okay. They don't even out. The law of big numbers, I'll show you here in a minute. The law of big numbers will feel like it evens out, but it really doesn't. You got to remember that everything we do, even if it's Baccarat, blackjack, UTH, whatever the game is, everything is an independent trial. Okay. There's no, what I would call futures betting in this world. You'll hear people make that argument quite a bit when they advocate for 3 7s in a row. There's no way a 4th one is coming. That's a futures bettor's point of view of it. It's completely wrong. There are no such things as trends in independent trial games. It's just not. And a point we've made before with my friend JB, Myopia Movie, the impossible is a guarantee to happen. You might think it's never going to happen. Trust me, it will happen. It may not happen to you, but it will happen. You cannot bet on the impossible. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about some of these things. And I think what I might want to do here is go to the table, actually, and talk through some of these. So I'm going to switch my screen here and go back to my craps table. And I want to demonstrate some of this with chips and with a bag of marbles. So give me a second here to kind of transform the thing. We're going to go to, let's see, this. I think it's going to be this one. Give me some light on the situation. There we go. Come on, light. Turn yourself on. Awesome. Okay. You know what? That looks a little funny. That looks a little funny. I'm going to make this a little bit expanded. I'm going to get, oh, not like that. Let's do this. There we go. Let's make it a little bit taller, huh? All right, here we go. Let's examine this first point here, that the odds and probabilities reset. And I've heard people make this point where you know the 7's coming X number of times. We have, let's just take, I'll put it right here in the middle of my table. We'll do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways to roll a 7 in craps. You have 1, 2, 3 ways to roll a 4 in craps. Okay. And again, consider just the case of raw probability. The probability of a 4 beating a 7 is 3 out of 9, right? 33%. That's the way the probabilities work. Now, what people tend to think is this. Hey, I rolled a 4. Cool. I take it away. Now the 7 is more likely than my 4. Well, I rolled another 4. Awesome. Now the 7 is even more likely than my 4, right? Well, I rolled a 4. The 7's guaranteed to come now, right? I've removed the 4 from the mix. Okay, people think that odds and probabilities somehow are compounded like that, right? Or I've rolled 1, 2, 3, 4 7s in a row, right? or 4 sevens before a 4, that 4 is so due, right? The universe owes me. I might have rolled 6 sevens and not seen 1 4. And you say, God, the universe owes me a 4. I got to tell you, folks, that's just not how it works, right? That's not how it works. You look at what I got on screen here, right? There are 3 ways to win, 6 ways to win, 9 ways to win total. When you roll a 7, it doesn't remove itself from the world and increase or decrease your odds of winning or losing. The way that this works is this. I'm going to put this bag out here, and this is going to be I'm going to do this a number of times today. But let's put lammers in a bag. All right, I've got 3 whites. That's your 4. I've got 6 blacks. That's your 7s. Okay. The way the world works, that demonstration right there is this: we put them all in a bag. Put them all in a bag. Right? Shake the bag up. Shake the bag up. Reach into the bag and pull out one thing. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm covering them up. I'm going to pull out this. It's a white chip. We got a 4, right? Guess what happens when the dealer brings the dice back to the shooter? Guess what happens? That goes right back in the bag. And the bag once again has 6 reds and 3 4s in it. Right? It's the same thing. Right? Just because we pulled a 4 out does not mean I'm more likely or less likely to pull a 4 or a 7 out of this bag. They all go back in every single time. This system does not. There's a 7. It doesn't reset. I don't have less 7s in here now. I always have 6 7s in the bag. I've always got 3 4s in the bag. When you're looking at odds of winning or losing, these numbers don't reset. The universe does not owe you something, extra 7 coming because you won a 4. No, it's always the same thing every single time. That's what we mean by things are a game of independent trials. All right, let's go here. I think my microphone might be a little bit light here, so let me. I'm going to switch mics. Hold on one second. Let's go there and there. All right, that's that one. Okay, the results do not even out. Okay, and here's the thing to consider too, right? In 100 spins of a roulette wheel, you should see about 47 reds based on probability. Okay, if you see 63 reds, okay, it doesn't mean that the world owes us more reds next time or more blacks, right? Doesn't that mean we're going to get 13 fewer reds in the future? This is the law of big numbers, okay? The results don't even out. In other words, let's say that we have this situation here again. Let's just use our 4s and our 7s, okay? Let's say that, and if I keep track over here, let's say that we got, there's 5 in, let's say that we got, out of 36 rolls, we got 10 7s out of 36 rolls. And go, oh my God, we're, it's going to even itself out. Who's heard a YouTuber say this? It's going to even itself out eventually, right? The world owes me, right? 4 7s, 4 less 7s on the next 36 rolls. We're owed 4. You're not owed 4. Okay. You got 10 in that 36 roll sequence. Fine. What will happen is this. I want you to think about how this works. Again, you at the table in 100 rolls that you might see might be in this world where you get 20% of the rolls are 7s instead of 16%. And that sucks for you. Okay. Over the course of time, those extra 4 7s don't really matter very much. Okay. Extra 4 7s out of 36 rolls sucks. That's a huge percentage. It's a huge leap. It's a huge variant for you, right? Those 4 7s, when looked at 4 extra 7s over 1,000 rolls, doesn't matter so much. 4 extra 7s over 1 billion rolls matters nothing. The percentages here are big. Those 4 7s represent about, a 10, 12% variance, right? Those 4 7s over 1,000 rolls represent less than 1% variance. Those 4 7s over 1 billion rolls represent almost 0 variance. So law of big numbers dictates to you that this is true. Okay. You might have extra outcomes today, right now. The world doesn't owe you a reset on that. Just as we go to infinite numbers, the impact of that reset is very small. Okay. You may get, like I said, you may have a series with 36 with no 7s. It doesn't owe you 7s back. Just again, this is law of big numbers stuff. This is how this all works. And again, this is why the casino makes so damn much money on us, right? This is why they're so good at their game, right? Okay, the next thing is this: independent trials equals no trends. And I know we talk about this quite a bit on my show, but read what's on screen here. Every spin of the wheel or roll of the dice is a unique event. And I'll get the marbles out again. I'll show you one more time in the bag here. This is so important for us to remember. Here it is. Here's the bag. And I have the visual out here, right? We have in the bag 6 blacks that are 6 sevens. We have 3 whites that are 3 fours, right? I pull something out of that bag. There's a 4. It goes back in the bag, right? And there's not a thing that I can do on the next pull of this bag that has any impact at all on what happened previously, okay? Everything is an independent trial. You got to remember that. And of all things that are truthful, this is the one. I pull the marble out of the bag. It goes right back in the bag. The next time I reach in, the bag has the exact same number of things in it, and they're scrambled up all over the place, okay? Nothing I did when I reached in the bag the first time has any impact on what's going to happen when I reach in the bag the second, third, fourth, or fifth time. It doesn't make any difference. Nothing I did or nothing I can do can change what's in the bag or the randomness by which I pull it out, unless, and here's the big caveat, unless you are one of those magicians who can throw the dice and say, I'm so good, there's one less 7 in the bag. That's the way you can change things, right? Or if your dice setting somehow puts all the 7s on the right side of the bag and all the 4s on the left side of the bag, and you somehow were able to reach over here and grab this side of the bag, right? Which is, again, magic stuff, right? That's what I'm talking about. Everything is independent. You got to remember that everything's independent. Unless you have an advantage of some kind, demonstrable advantage, and you're removing marbles, or you're placing them in a way that you can only grab a certain color, there's no trends or patterns. Everything's independent. The bag is always randomized, and it's always full. The bag is always full of marbles. There's no marbles or chips removed from that bag. And again, here's the big one. Independent trials and futures bets. I want you to lock in on this one. I'm going to come back over here, and I want to lock in with you on this. I'm going to change my microphone again and go here. Lock in on this one. This is an important thing for us to remember, okay? I hear this so often about the futures bets, right? The probability of rolling 4 sevens in a row is 0.07%. It's infinitesimal. It's ridiculous, right? 700th of a percent, okay? The probability of rolling a 7 after you've rolled a 7 is 16.67%, right? Every single time. Remember this. And this is, again, for the guys who say, wait for 2 sevens before you bet. This is the fallacy that gets a lot of people in trouble, okay? After you've seen 3 sevens, and I can do it right here on the table. If I roll the dice, 7, 7, 7, I ask you the question, and here's the answer on screen. What is the probability that the next roll of that dice is a 7? Is it 0.07% chance that I roll a 7 on the 4th one? Or is it 16.67%? The answer is 16.67%. Every roll of the dice is independent. It doesn't matter that I rolled 5, 10 sevens in a row. It does not matter. The next roll of the dice, independent trial, it still has a 16% chance of being a 7. That never changes. Now, if you look at this from the beginning of that series and say, look, you've rolled 0 times. Here's a brand new set of dice. I will bet you $1 million that you can't roll 4 in a row. That's the 0.07% chance ahead of time. I can make that bet ahead of time and say, yes, no way in hell you're rolling 4 in a row or 5 in a row. That the casino will take that bet. I would take that bet, right? That's the futures planning bet. That's the problem, is that we look at that in the present. People look at what they think can never happen because they're looking at, hey, that's never going to happen. When it's already happened and you're in the moment, pardon me. When it's already happened and we're in the moment, you can't make that betting decision. You cannot say, because it happened 3 times, it will not happen a 4th time. The 4th time does not incur the penalty of 0.07%. in this particular case. The fourth time has the same likelihood as the first time. You've got to remember that. I've fallen victim to this myself. I've been in my garage, I've been on this table, and I've thrown 7, 7, 7. I'm like, there's no way I'm throwing another one. Now's the time to go out $2,500 across. And guess what? Freaking 7 comes. Because the dice don't give a shit that I rolled 3 in a row. The dice know that they are back in that bag, and I'm pulling out 1 in 6 chance of getting a 7 again. It does not matter what happened. You've got to remember this above all things. Above all things. Things that happen sequentially, you can bet them ahead of time and say that's never going to happen, or you can bet it in the moment. In the moment, the probability does not change, regardless of what happened beforehand. That's super important to remember, okay? The last thing I want to leave you with this is that the impossible is a guarantee. Okay, the impossible is a guarantee. And I've got a couple of examples here. We've talked about these before, but again, these come from my good friend, JB, who's a mathematician, and he likes to speak in pictures. And I think these are great pictures. The impossible is guaranteed. If I put you in a football stadium with 65,000 people, and we say everybody flip a coin, and all the losers sit down, okay? 65,000 people, you're going to have 18. I think it's 16 to 18. I forget the number of the binaries there. I think it's about 16 trials on average. 16 times you'll get down to the last 2 people, and somebody wins the thing, right? Somebody has to win 15 times in a row to win that. It seems impossible. If I gave you a coin and me and you went head to head, right? What's the chances of one of us going 15 times in a row? Well, it's 50% to the 15th power. That's how you figure that out, by the way. But that's what somebody's going to be the winner. The impossible thing is going to happen. Somebody's going to be the best. And matter of fact, somebody's going to win 15 in a row to get to the 16th one, right? That's the thing. I've seen a lot of this. I watch a lot of videos. I'm sure you do too. Roulette strategies are always martingales for whatever reason. Baccarat videos are always these weird inverse pattern betting things, right? Here's the example, right? This series, I made it up. Player, banker, banker, 6 players in a row, banker, player, player, banker, 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 right? Whatever that series is. That happened. I guarantee you that exact series of bets has happened in the casino somewhere in the US. Today. It probably happened today somewhere, right? You go, oh my God, what an interesting series that is. And a lot of people will inverse bet that. They're going to bet a martingale on the reverse. They're going to bet banker, player, player, banker, 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 banker. And the only way to lose the martingale is if this exact series of bets happens in the reverse order, right? Seems impossible, but I guarantee you somewhere today in the US, somebody has seen a table where it went banker, player, player, banker, 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 player, banker, banker, and all the way around. It's been reversed. It seems impossible until it gets you. I guarantee you it will happen. Okay. Again, the probability is not 0 to roll 4 7s in a row. It's tiny. It's 0.07%, right? It's not 0 that it will never happen. Okay. Matter of fact, it's 1 out of 1.5 million is what that comes out to. If you're curious, 1.5 million of us will never see 4 7s in a row, but somebody's going to walk up to a table probably today, maybe in Oklahoma, grab them dice, 4 7s in a row. They're going to have a hell of a story they can tell. Guarantee it's going to happen. Betting against the impossible will crush you, especially if you're a martingale bettor, like a lot of people do on roulette and on baccarat. The martingale stuff without any kind of guardrail on the impossible, because they're looking ahead and saying there's no way, probability-wise, that this exact sequence of things can happen. I guarantee you they will happen. Be careful about that stuff. Gambler's fallacy is one of those things that I think it's a very interesting thing to study. It's a very dangerous thing to be a part of, okay? Especially that bankroll. But there's a but to it, right? And I'll close with this, right? All the things that the fallacists believe will probably happen, right? You may never in your life see 4 7s in a row. You may bet the 4 hard, right? You may do all across bet for $10,000 after the 3rd 7, and your whole life you'll never see the 4th 7. I'm not going to dispute that could happen to you, right? But I guarantee you somewhere in the world that 4th 7s happened and somebody lost 10K. Guarantee it, right? I'll also guarantee you this, right? From the fallacy point of view, streaks happen. We talk about this all the time. Streaks happen all the time. Variance is very real. There's no causality to it, but it's real. The law of big numbers is always looming, though. Remember that. Don't fall prey to the confirmation bias. When you see something that happens, you go, oh, see, I told you. Don't do that. It's dumb luck. The bag of marbles is the bag of marbles drives the whole thing. Okay. I believe this. I joke about this a lot. I think everything's happening right now. We're in a giant RNG. Like right now, there's an RNG running in the universe, and every billionth of a second, it's deciding 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, right? And when I roll the dice, it happens to land at the nanosecond where the universe's RNG said, screw you, John, you're getting a 7. I know that's not really what's happening, but it feels like it sometimes, doesn't it? Anyway, there's my talk, guys. That's gambler's fallacy. I think the math doesn't support any of it, right? It's you want to bet that way. You want to bet based on gut, based on feel. That's fine. Do not make decisions that say, because I saw this, that's going to happen. It's complete lunacy. Okay. The way that it works is lunacy. The odds of things happening never change unless you've got a demonstrable physical advantage or something physically is different in the room or whatever. It never changes. Now, can you take advantage of that? Sure. Right? Can you take advantage of it? Sure. Is that how streaks happen? Yeah, that's how they form. You can bet differently based on these things, but to just sit around and say, oh, you know what, we're due. Haven't seen a 7 in a while, let's do. Haven't seen a 4 in a while, let's do. Too many reds in a row, black has got to be coming. None of that is true. None of that is true. And there it is. I do have a fallacy. See, my fallacy is that the dice kiss, it's a 7. There you go. That's my confirmation. It's not fallacy, it's confirmation bias, right? I always say, and here's, we should do this. And I think maybe I'm going to elect somebody to help me out here. Every time, JB's challenged me on this before, and I think I should take the challenge up. Anytime the dice kiss and I say, oh shit, they kissed, right? Someone needs to write down what the number was. What happened? When I say the dice kissed and it's a 7 or a 5 or whatever, and I say, oh, we got lucky on that one, write it down. Every time you're playing and the dice go off the table, write down the next roll. Just keep a separate log of like dice off the table and write down the numbers that came after that. I wonder if it's going to be 1 out of 6 times the dice go off the table that a 7 shows up. And I wonder if 1 out of 6 times my dice kiss, if it's a 7. Probably is. But it sure as hell feels like every time it happens, I remember it. And the reason for that is your brain remembers like stark events. Like, oh, that was a jolt when that happened, right? Like it's, oh, they kissed. Yeah, I swear. And it's 7. See, I told you, right? You're going to remember that. I don't remember the times they kissed and I got a 6, 4, 10 because it's boring, right? You remember things that are seared in your brain are what you remember. So there it is. Arcades, I did not link the video. I didn't. Let me actually, you know what? I can show it to you here. Give me a second. Let me get it right now because that's a good call out. I actually sent it to Jen yesterday. So let me get a messages app. Let's go to my Jen. Let's see here. There it is. The math. Let's copy that link. I'm going to put it right here in chat for you right now. So y'all have it. There it is. That is the YouTube link. That is a video called The Mathematics of the Casino. Watch it. It's fascinating. You look at that and you go, wow. Like, and that's why I've, you know, I know Michael Shackelford and PJ and JB, they all laugh at me because, oh, you're finally coming around to seeing, you know, the truth of it all. But the thing of it is, fighting to win little amounts a lot of times it's a losing battle. And that thing I think is interesting. So, all right. What else do we have here as far as PCs go? Let's see. Gambling. Yeah. Waylon says, I'll put my glass on. We gambling at some point, at least one roll with any strategy. If you're scared to gamble, don't play crap. Gamble, it's all a gamble, right? And again, all the casinos have done, Ken from Kendo's Gambling likes to say they put lipstick on a pig, right? Here's the pig. This is the pig right here. It's a bag full of random shit, right? And you're gonna say, hey, I'm gonna bet you $10 that I'm gonna reach in here and I'm gonna grab me a 4 before I grab, or a white one before I grab the black one. And if I get it, because there's only 3, you're gonna pay me $18. I'll bet you $10 against 18 that I can reach into a bag with 9 things in it and pull a white one out. That's what we're saying when you're place betting the 4. This is boring and stupid and gross. Who's gonna play that game? right? Nobody's playing that game. What do? They make a big ass fancy table. They get people screaming and yelling. They got 5 dealers out there and chips everywhere. And we go, oh, let me do that. Let me put that $10 on that 4. It's no different than the freaking bag. It's the same shit. All the casino is a bag of marbles with felt and glitz and glam on it. Remember that. That's all that it is. So that's my closing thought. Actually, that was a great drop the mic moment right there, folks. That's it. The casino is a bag of shit that you're reaching into and making a bet on. That's all every bet comes down to. Everything comes down to that, unless you got some advantage that lets you pull different things out of the bag at will, or more often than not, card counting and those kind of things. So there it is. All right. What else? Jen says, we all know these statements are true, but we can't overcome our rudimentary understanding of probability. It's true. It's true. We all, I think, mistakenly look at probability. I think the thing where something's due because something else has happened is a problem. And I think knowing that the bag gets refilled every single time is the most important visual. I can do that all day long. Taking a marble out of the bag and putting it right back in again is the way this all works. You have to remember that that's the thing, right? And Darksider says, that's what the math says. Yes, he agrees with me. But here's the big but. In many sessions, the 7s come and go heavy. And they get thinner, they go away. 100% true, right? But again, it's fallacy to think that because that's happening, it's going to keep happening. Although I will say the streak of no 7s or lots of 7s is a thing you can bet on, right? If you're betting on it and it starts to happen and you bet more as it's happening, you're going to capitalize when it happens, right? What the fallacist says is, I predict that it's going to happen because. That's the mistake that we make. And it's a nuanced thing. That's the whole idea about trending. Because X happened, Y is going to happen is never the case in a gambling situation. Now, X may happen a bunch of times in a row, and that's totally cool. It happens all the time. If you're betting increasingly strongly on it when it does happen, that's great. Just keep pressing your bets little by little, and you're going to make more money. That's what it's all about. Or if you're betting a thing and it's not happening, then either stop betting or bet low. Bet low while you're losing, bet big when you're winning. That's catching streaks. It's basics right there. But don't make the decision based on what you just saw. That's my one fear for everybody. All right. Final thoughts. Boom. Baba. Betting on a bag of shit. There it is. I should put a turd. I should put a turd in the bag as my next, like the thumbnail for this video should be John holding the bag with a dog turd in it. Like that's what a casino is. Reaching into a bag of dog shit. Wow. Wow. This took a dark turn on a Wednesday. I love you all. Have a great day. Everybody, get on out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your families. Love you all. I'll see you tomorrow morning for another daily paycheck and another hopefully fantastic coffee run. We're going to talk about the house edge tomorrow a little bit. And there she blows. Have a good one all. Bye.